Imagine a highly trained army coming to arrest one unarmed man, only to be leveled to the ground the moment he speaks. When Jesus said, "I am," he wasn't just identifying himself. He was letting a sliver of his divine glory break through. He could have walked away a free man, but he chose to be bound. Today, we're looking at the moment Jesus proved that no one takes his life. He lays it down exactly when he chooses. The scene begins just across the Kidron Valley. It is deep into the night, but the valley is likely glowing with the light of a full moon. John tells us that Jesus often met with his disciples in this specific olive grove known as Gethsemane. But on this night, the quiet of the garden is shattered by the sound of clanking metal and marching feet. A large detachment of soldiers, a cohort, which could mean hundreds of men, along with officials from the chief priests, arrive with lanterns, torches, and weapons. Think about the absurdity of that image. They came with torches to find the light of the world. They came with swords and clubs to arrest the Prince of Peace. And even more telling, they came with lanterns because they expected him to be hiding. They thought they were going to have to hunt him down in the shadows. But John shows us a very different Jesus. He tells us that Jesus, knowing all that was going to happen to him, stepped forward. He didn't hide behind a tree. He didn't slip away into the darkness. He initiated the confrontation. Jesus asked them a simple question.
"Who is it you want?"
They reply, "Jesus of Nazareth." And then Jesus speaks two words that change the entire dynamic of the arrest. He says,
"I am he." In the original Greek, it is simply ego eimi, I am.
This is the divine name of God revealed to Moses at the burning bush. The moment those words leave his lips, something supernatural happens. John records that the entire army, the soldiers, the guards, and even Judas drew back and fell to the ground. John specifically notes that Judas, the betrayer, was standing there with them. The man who had seen the miracles and shared the bread was now standing in the dirt with the enemies of God, silenced by a single phrase of divine power. This wasn't a stumble. It was a physical reaction to the sheer weight of his divine authority. For one brief second, Jesus pulled back the veil of his humanity and let the power of his deity flash forth. He was showing them that their weapons were useless and their numbers meant nothing. He was effectively saying, "I am the one in charge here. If you are standing, it is because I allow it. If you have breath in your lungs to arrest me, it is because I give it to you." He proved that if he didn't want to be taken, no power on earth could touch him. When he identifies as the I am, he is claiming the identity of the God who spoke the universe into existence, now speaking to those who wish to destroy him. But then, he allows them to get back up. He asks them again,
"Who is it you want?"
When they repeat his name, he gives a command that shows his heart as a shepherd. He says,
"If you are looking for me, then let these men go."
Even with an army in front of him and a cross waiting for him, his primary concern was the safety of his friends. He was stepping into the line of fire so they wouldn't have to. In the middle of this high-stakes standoff, Peter decides to take matters into his own hands. He pulls out a sword and strikes the servant of the high priest, cutting off his right ear. It was a move born of desperation and a total misunderstanding of what was happening. Peter thought he was defending a victim, but Jesus rebukes him, saying,
"Put your sword away! Shall I not drink the cup the Father has given me?"
Then in a breathtaking display of mercy, Jesus reaches out and touches the side of Malchus's head, completely healing his severed ear. Even in his darkest hour, surrounded by enemies, he stopped to heal the very man who came to destroy him. This cup wasn't just physical pain. It was the weight of divine justice for the sins of humanity. A cup Jesus knew would be bitter, yet he held out his hands for the rope because his love was stronger than his fear. Jesus wasn't a victim of a midnight ambush. He was a priest approaching an altar. He wasn't being captured. He was volunteering. He told Peter that the cup of suffering was something he was choosing to drink. The most shocking part of the arrest isn't that the soldiers fell down. It's that Jesus stood up and let them bind his hands. The hands that created the stars and healed the blind were voluntarily held out to be tied with coarse rope. They bound the only man who was truly free, leading him away as a prisoner while he was actually leading them toward the redemption of the world. Every step he took toward his captors was a step toward our freedom from the chains of sin and death. John concludes this section by noting that they bound him and led him away. To the soldiers, it looked like a successful mission. To the disciples, it looked like the end of the world. But to those who know the rest of the story, it was the most powerful moment in history. The I Am was on his way to the cross to finish the work he started. Thank you for joining us for Bible Story Time. If the urgent call to prepare your heart resonated with you today, please like, share, and subscribe. Join us next time as we follow the path John prepared, now revealed in the person of Jesus Christ.